Surprise, surprise, Putin isn't happy, Sajila.
I don't think we've ever seen Putin happy, have we? So just read the headline. It's from The Independent. Putin says Western sanctions are akin to act of war as Ukraine evacuation plan collapses amid shelling. Now, Vladimir Putin's claimed on Saturday that Western sanctions were akin to a declaration of war as Russia was blamed for the collapse of a ceasefire designed to allow tens of thousands of Ukrainian civilians to escape the besieged cities of Mariupol and Volnovakha. OK, so the sanctions have been coming from places, I'm told, like Samsung, PayPal, Zara, H&M, clothing organisations, IKEA, Swift Banking. I don't know about you, and I'm not a military expert, so I must confess that in advance, and I'm not a war geek. I don't know if you guys are. But I don't think not being able to buy a bully bookcase, a Swedish meatballs, or have a little visit to the cafe in IKEA constitutes an act of war.
How are you going to furnish the barracks?
Exactly.
I mean, I think what this is doing is bringing pressure on the Russian people who were actually kept in the dark about this invasion, kept in the dark about it. I mean, they're learning about it now, but it's going to bring home to them. I mean, the sanctions are completely unprecedented. I know unprecedented is a word that we've used a lot in the last 2 years, but these really are. I mean, it's going to completely send Russia back to the 90s, send them into the deepest and darkest recession. I mean, Apple, all the technology companies, a lot of car companies, a lot of consumer product companies are refusing to sell products in Russia anymore. A lot of software companies, what's really going to hurt them is the technology. So if they can't get the microchips, which are, the West has got a grip on the microchip market. You need our microchips and our software if you want to run things. Even if you want to run your drones, even if you want to run your military apparatus. So I mean, stuff is going to work for a little while, and then as soon as they need to replace things, then it's all going to stop and it's gradually going to grind into the ground. As we're seeing with the invasion of Ukraine, it's gradually grinding into the ground. We've seen, the 40-kilometre convoy going into Kyiv, just stuck in mud. The roads have all been chewed up by tank tracks, and they're invading in the spring, which is the most ridiculous time. Like, invade in the winter when the ground is hard. You can drive tanks across it. Not in the spring when you're just going to get bogged down in mud.
Yeah, definitely not when the weather is clement.
Yeah, it's also interesting to hear those things described as an act of war, sanctions, whereas I imagine war is an act of war.
Yeah.
And probably a worse one, am I to judge.